right, so this is Kevin Davis and Robert DiTerlizzi.
DiTerlizzi.
Huh?
DiTerlizzi.
Terlizzi?
DiTerlizzi.
I don't know
It's
why I
two
always
words.
want to say that with an E.
D-I.
D-I. Terlizzi. Got it. And so we are talking today. I'm trying to figure out where to look. All right, if I look at your face, then it's down there, so I'll look at your face. We're doing a little podcast / FaceTime here. We've never done this before, so I'm sort of new territory for me. But we were supposed to do a live video yesterday, but I got pulled out into another video, which ironically didn't turn out. So we have to reshoot it at SEMA. So that was an interesting little development. But so we're going to do a quick interview. I don't want to take up too much of his time. He's got to polish that Denali back there. You polished it? Did you coat it today?
Everything, yes.
Coated and everything. All right, cool. So how many hours do you have into that thing? If you can say, we won't. I don't think your client's going to watch this, so we won't.
Somewhere between 25 and 27 hours.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's black, right? So it takes a lot longer. So
that includes the interior as well.
Oh, we did the interior also. What do you mean? We don't do interiors. This is all polish all the time. Isn't that how you make money? You polish and bill at $2,000 an hour?
Yeah, my name's not Todd Helm.
Wow. He doesn't watch my videos, I don't think. He might. I don't know. I'm friends with him, but I'll have to make sure I tag him in this.
Oh, I do it all. Extraction, deodorizing, whatever it takes.
That's cool. Yeah, well, I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's just like if you go by what people post on Facebook, then you would think that all they're doing is Lambo correction jobs and new car stuff and all that. So
in a perfect world, maybe.
I don't know. It's freaking hard. Interiors are fast and you can charge a lot of money for them, and I don't mind interiors at all. Some people hate them, but if you know what you're doing, it's not that big a deal. So
content with any part of the car. I don't care. Engines, undercarriage, I don't care.
Doesn't matter. You do it everything. Well, give me, I don't want to take up too much of your time. So give me a sense of, you've been in the industry for a while. I think most guys would be interested to know how you got started, how long you've been in the industry, and sort of what you're doing now. I know that you're you're in a unique situation now because you're in the Auto Geek building. You have your own thing, but you're in the Auto Geek building, which is kind of a cool. Like how that's turned out.
Actually, I'm in Autopia Car Care Building, which is a separate entity than Auto Geek. So I'm really not affiliated with Auto Geek. I'm more affiliated with Autopia.
Oh, okay, cool. Can you explain the difference between those two? Because I don't think people know the difference. I don't really know the difference very well.
Two completely separate companies as far as car care products, and they're two separate companies as far as forums. So there is Auto Geek Forum and there's Autopia Forum, and they both do very well.
Cool, awesome. Well, give us the lowdown on your background and what you're doing now. Fine impressions.
Impressions, fine automotive detailing.
Cool.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Basically, I started detailing as a kid. Make some money in the summer in Atlantic Beach, New York. Lived in a beach town, and for the summers to make money, I detailed cars. A lot of nice cars back in the day, and I'd worked on anything from Mercedes to Ferraris to custom-built cars. It was a very, very influential neighborhood, and there was a lot of money. So
nice.
Detailing in the old school, I'm 56, and when I was 14, it was a bit different than it was today. From there, I went into the car wash business in Staten Island, New York, and ran 5 full-service tunnel car washes, and did most of the detailing at 1 or 2 different locations. And
that's pretty lucrative, from what I've heard. That car wash can be. That's if you want to make money in car detailing, quote unquote. Car washes are the way to go.
Car care in general, car washes are very, very, very good money-making venture. They're expensive to build.
Yeah.
A state-of-the-art car wash today costs in excess of $1.5 million.
Wow.
maybe $2 million, and that's after you purchase the property. So
Right.
it's definitely an expensive process, but it's well worth it. And technology's come a long way. When I got out of the car wash business and moved to Florida, I opted not to go in detailing. I was trained to do auto repair, but I didn't like to get dirty, so I opted to become a service writer. And for the next 15 years, I ran a family-owned business and did service writing. And when the recession hit, I really didn't have a lot of choice. I had left the family business and moved on to another company, and recession hit and I lost my job. So
Wow.
I decided to fall back on detailing. And when I did, that was probably 8 or 9 years ago. And when I did, I figured there was only one place to go to learn the newest methods in detailing, and that was at AutoGeek.
Nice.
And that's when I met Mike Phillips, and the rest is history. I've been detailing since, and I've fine-tuned my skills to the point where I can do just about anything detailing related.
And now you're at a point where you can sort of, the way I understand from watching you on Facebook and talking to you, you sort of pick and choose the projects you want to do. Like you're not, just starving and having to take on anything, or is that false?
I do anything. I don't care if it's a soccer mom car, trashed inside with Cheerios and Rice Krispie treats all over it, to Ferraris, and I've yet to ever do a Lamborghini, so I'm not an elitist yet.
Oh, there you go.
But I've done some Cobras and lots of nice cars. And
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to do the Barrett Jackson with Mothers, and I've done some work for McGuire's as well at an AMG drive event here in Palm Beach, and it was a great experience. And I still try to learn something new every day. So.
Did Stoops do that with you? Was that?
I did it alone. I was supposed to do it. David Pedri was supposed to do it, and he got called out of town, and he asked me if I would cover for him.
Okay.
And that was a interesting event to do.
Cool.
At the racetrack with all these AMG 6.3 cars running the track, and just amazing.
They get nasty after they run the track a couple times too.
Well, I was picked to detail one car for one of the members, one of the attendants, and it happened to be a CLK 63 in black.
Wow.
So, and the gentleman was very happy. So
Nice. That's awesome.
so.
Cool. Well, hey, we had some questions. I posted I'm going to do this little video, and we had some questions, and we might want to start with someone other than Curtis Wentworth, because that may take us a while. So if we have to cut it short, we'll leave off 10 or 11 of his questions. But
I know that Bruce Humphreys had asked, what would I do differently if I started my business today? And that's really a tough question. At 56, I don't know that I would have started the detailing business at this age. It's a lot of work. The guys that do it know it's hard work. It's definitely, it takes its toll on your body. Physically, it's demanding. It could be mentally demanding when you get finicky paint and finicky interiors and stains and whatnot. But I don't know what I would do. I would probably, if I had to do it today to start, I would probably start a training center.
cool.
I think I enjoy educating people on detailing, and I think that's the way I would go.
Now we talked about on that same Facebook group, somebody had asked me about sort of retirement, and not that, I mean, you're 56. Obviously, this is a really physical job. Do you have sort of an exit strategy for yourself? Are you going to try to hire and train someone? I mean, because it could be 10 years, it could be 5, could be 10 years, whatever it is. And because a lot of these young guys that, I'm 42, I'm a little bit younger than you, but it beats the crap out of me detailing. And so a lot of these guys that are 22, 23 have no idea the toll that this, just this physical labor takes on your body over time. So you sort of have to have a little bit of a plan for moving forward. I'm just curious. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I am going to put you on the spot. But
Fine. I have some retirement plans and savings and whatnot, but I really haven't, not an exit plan to leave Impressions Detailing. I'll work till I drop, maybe. I don't know.
yeah,
I enjoy what I do, and When you love what you do, it's not going to work.
That's right.
I tell guys today that want to get into detailing, you're not going to get rich. I mean, unless you've got a lot of money and you can back a major facility, you can hire 10 or 15 people and operate a full service detail facility, then it's different. As one employee maybe and yourself, you're not going to get wealthy doing this. You can make a good living, you can make an honest living, you can make a lot of new friends, and make a lot of people very happy, drive nice, clean cars.
Yeah, it's a rewarding, I mean, it's still a rewarding occupation. And, what I sort of see is the way I see a lot of different businesses, which as you get older, depending on how you view retirement, the old school way to view of retirement is, all right, at some date in time, I'm just going to stop working altogether and sit on my butt and watch football all day. I don't know, that would drive me insane. So I can't see doing that. But like, as you're thinking about that, you could get to a point where, all right, I'm going to pick and choose the jobs because I don't need, maybe I can cut my salary back to 50% of what it is now, which means I can do less jobs and demand a little bit higher prices or whatever. So there's some different options for guys, I think.
Well, and over the years, my prices have gone up as my experience levels have gone higher and higher. My prices obviously have went up, and with demand comes higher prices as well. So, I've been in demand for the last few years, and I hope it continues. Coatings have been a big thing recently within the last 2 years, and I use a lot of different coatings. I'm certified in CarPro C-Quartz Finest, but I do use other coatings. I use quartz, I use resin, I use glass. I enjoy them all. They all do the same purpose. They make the car look good and clean it very easily. So that's been a big part of my business lately, and I've developed a reputation for being able to give you a quality finish and lock it all in at the same time.
So you didn't mention that cars become bulletproof and Bic lighter proof. Is that something that you use to sell coatings to your customers?
I hate, lighting a car on fire and striking it with a
saw another one yesterday doing that.
I saw a headlight one today, and there's no reason for it. I mean, cigarette lighters don't scratch your car.
Yeah.
They
dent them. Have you noticed they always crease them every time they do those videos? Yeah.
And lighter fluid burns off before the paint gets damaged. So, it's a scam. It's
snake oil kind of thing.
And they've all done it. Every coating company has done it. The fact is, yes, they do make the paint a little bit harder, a little easier, harder to scratch when it comes to your wash method. Not everybody washes a car like you or I. So they're going to induce some marring, some swirls. I don't care what coating you have, you're going to induce scratches sooner or later.
Yeah.
So the fact is, they don't make it as easy to scratch. So it makes it a lot easier for John Q. Public that gets his car coated by me or you or anybody else to maintain that car to a level where he's content for the next 2 years. 2 years, you repolish it and recoat it, and you move on.
So can you give us the quick 101 on when someone like this guy, I know the Denali had approached you looking at your car, and that's how you ended up selling him the coating, right? Is that what you told me? What like one paragraph thing do you say?
Well, it really depends on how the conversation goes. I have no set sales method in coatings. Obviously, my car, my Triumph TR6 in black, even dirty, looks amazing. And when people see it,
they want to know how you got there, right?
They want to know what it took to do it, what it's going to take to do it to their car. And I say my Triumph TR6 is half the size of that Denali back there, and I've probably got better than 30 hours in compounding and polishing in my TR6. Actually done some wet sanding and buffing as well, but
30, you're not even getting started yet.
You're right. Well, there was no wet sand at the hood. But, and that's the part most people see, and I think that as far as coatings go, ease of cleaning, ease of maintenance is the biggest sale to most of my customers. I don't deal with 35 and younger. I deal with 35 to 65 or 70.
Yep.
That's my client base. And those are the people that really want it easy to maintain. And that's a huge sale point, especially when they see my car, if it hasn't been washed, how little dirt it has on it over a month. And it just, it's that ease. Everybody wants something easy.
Right.
And, there isn't a whole lot of easiness in this world, but to wash a car that's been coated is simple, easy. So I use that as a big factor, and that it always has that just detailed look once it's washed. And once they have the car and they see that, then they're sold and they sell their friends on it as well.
Right. Do you find, I've sort of been thinking about this lately, that you have a unique car that's your daily driver, right? So it's a conversation piece. I obviously have a similar unique day. It's not a daily driver, but I drive it enough that I can have conversations about it. Explain, I'm just curious, explain what you think. Do you use that as a tool? Do you think that it's a tool to get conversations started for potential customers if you're driving that car versus a four-door Accord or something like that?
Well, I don't drive it every day as much anymore. I have a mobile van that I use. I don't do mobile. I use it more for advertising. But when I was driving my car, I couldn't go anywhere without a conversation being struck up regarding the car. Whether it be everybody had one, a TR6 or a TR4 or whatever in their past, it's a conversation starter. And when they ask how it's maintained, how it stays so nice looking for a 15-year-old paint job, that's when I explain I'm a detailer, my card comes out, and the conversation shifts to what a car can look like, especially a black car, and what it takes to maintain it.
I'm just curious because with detailers, some detailers are car guys, car girls, whatever, and some aren't. And to me, when you're in an industry like detailing, I think it's important that even if it's not something unique like your TR6, that it is something that can start a conversation. I'm totally guilty of not washing my Denali for 9 months at a time, but I also pulled all my vinyl off so I could hide it. I actually did that because I couldn't maintain it at the level that I needed to have vinyl on it. So I think that I was just sort of wondering what your thoughts were on, maintaining the vehicle and using it as your sales piece. I know Joe Fernandez does the same thing with his van. He bought his new van, or new to him, and he polished the crap out of that thing and coated it, and it looks awesome. So it's white.
I'll be honest, mine's a white GMC, and it's filthy. I don't keep it clean. Honestly, I don't think I've washed it in 3 months. It's dirty. I didn't polish it. I won't polish it. The paint isn't that great on it. My conversation starter is my car, and that I'll try to keep clean most of the time. If I'm going some winter car show, just a cruise night or something, it's clean.
Cool.
So it's usually an attention getter.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important, the point that I was getting at, which actually you made my point quite well, is that it doesn't, there's different opinions on that either way, but you need something. I think whatever you're going to drive, if you're going to events or you're doing car club nights or cars and coffee or whatever it happens to be, it's just one more way to be able to start a conversation. And the nice thing is that you can write that off, right? And so, if you use your vehicle for marketing, you can write that stuff off. Even a personal vehicle, you can get a percentage of that. Again, disclaimer, I'm not a CPA, so talk to your CPA about that. But you can write some of that stuff off. So I know from personal experience.
Yes.
So, hey, what else do we have for questions? Todd asked you already how old was too old, which we sort of talked about that already. But
well, I don't think there's any age too old to clean cars. But to start a business, this is a young person's field. And I know a lot of 50-plus detailers. Lately, I've seen an influx of older people getting into detailing. And I don't know what it is. If people think it's easy work, but, I tell them right off the get-go, if you think it's easy, you're totally wrong.
yeah.
This is definitely hard work. And I'm not a long hours kind of guy. I'm an 8 to 5 detailer. Most people that know me know I open my shop at 8 and I'm out of here at 5. If I have to stay a little late once in a while or work a weekend, I do. But for the most part, I want to be home by 5:15, 5:30. And I think that's important. Family matters,
Yeah.
People today, we've got detailers, pro detailers that work 100 hours a week.
I
And
see that all the time on Facebook, and it just makes me sad.
I won't mention names. I know one really well that, he works his butt off and he makes a lot of money, but, he doesn't spend much time that I know of with his family. And I think it's important. You got a wife and kid. I mean, I have a wife and my kids are all grown and out of the house. So I spend time with my wife and I value that time.
Well, and you have hobbies and all that stuff. It's like I quote the immortal words of Billy Ray Cyrus. No one ever saw a tombstone that said, "I wish I'd spent more time at work." I mean,
Right.
it's I've been down that road in the corporate world and worked my butt off to the point where my wife basically packed her stuff and said, "Which one do you want to choose?" And that was an epiphany for me. But a lot of these guys, if you're under 30 and you think at some point if you're going to work 80 hours, 90 hours, 100 hours a week for X number of years, before you know it, that's 15 years, a divorce, and kids that hate you later. And it's just not worth it. I think that's
Life's,
balancing it. Say that again.
life, life's too short.
Yeah.
Relationships come and go, and people get divorced. It's a fact. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't always mean because it's business, but it's important to nurture relationships, and your spouse is a relationship that's worthy of nurturing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Know it
And
as well.
you never know how much time you have, right? I mean, you can get hit by a bus. Man, I just hate to think of these guys that worked 120 hours last week, didn't see their kids or wife, or didn't enjoy their life if they're single, and they get hit by a bus. That to me is tragic.
Well, I know people that worked their whole life and retired and died in 2 weeks. So, you know, again, I'm just a firm believer in 8 to 5. Don't overdo it. The work will be there. Most people understand detailing is a luxury for most people. It's a necessity when they vomit in their car or their dog has an accident. Those are necessity details. But for the most part, detailing is selective.
Yeah.
And here where I'm from, most people have an extra car. So if I keep a car an extra day, it's not a big deal to most people.
Right.
So if I have to put 10 hours in a car, I'm not doing it in one day. There's no sense in working myself, to death.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, what else do you have those questions up?
Yes. Curtis Wentworth asked regarding if I had only 3 services to offer, what would I offer? That's extremely difficult as a detailer of every aspect of the car. I can't offer 3 services.
Interior, exterior, and polishing.
Well, if I had to do 3, I would do a basic wash and wax. I would do a 1-step polish, and I would do a full correction and coating. Those would be my 3. But in this world, that doesn't happen.
No.
So I will tailor a detail to anyone's budget. Most people don't want to spend $600, $800, $1,000 on a detail. A lot of people want to spend $150, $200. And you know what? They're customers. I value them just as well as I value the guy that's going to give me $1,500 to detail his car or truck. And so I'll tailor fit a detail for those type of people. Most of my details are more than the lower end, and I give more than what they pay for.
Right.
New customers, I always try to give something extra. Whether I clean the engine compartment or throw in something, they get something extra. And I think that's important in building a new relationship, is that not only can they trust you to do their car, do a good job of it, but that they're going to get a little extra special treatment. And that's all everybody wants, is a little extra special treatment.
Yeah. And I think for me, if you look at the market of detailing as a whole, you're in South Florida, and so you probably have a higher percentage of guys like this Denali owner that's willing to pay a little bit more to get that level of perfection in coating. Industry-wide, I would venture to say that if you had to eliminate one service, eliminating full-on 25 to 30-hour polish jobs, you would probably only impact probably less than 5% for most of the country is going to want that service anyway. So if you had to dump one, I would say, I'll answer his question a different way. If you had to dump one, that would be the one. If you, like I said before, if you watch on Facebook, you think everybody's doing 40-hour correction jobs. But the reason that the ones aren't posting all the time, because they're too busy working on, on normal customers.
Well, I can do 6 or 7 $250 details a week.
Yep.
Or I can do one $1,500 detail a week. What would I rather do? I'd rather do 5 or 6 at $250 a piece than one at $1,500.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Correction work, when you get into the compounding step, and you know it, you just went through it in your Cobra. When you searching down defects and hunting them down to kill them, it's time consuming. It's strenuous. It puts your brain to use. You have to know what's going to do it. And every paint is different. I get questions asked all the time on detailing for dummies. What's the best swirl remover to remove swirls from a Volkswagen Rabbit? I'm sorry, not every paint is the same. So that's an impossible question to answer. I mean, even 2 completely the same cars could be painted in different warehouses.
Oh, yeah.
And be different systems. So, it's a hard question to ask, but to answer. But it's just treat paint like it is. It's paint. Do a test spot on everything you work on, and you'll find out the answer.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just did a 38 Olds custom right before I left for Southern California, and that thing just beat the crap out of me. It wasn't black, but it's dark blue and has all those louvers and all that, and it took me forever to find the right combination. I think I did test spots about 8 times before I figured out, all right, from step to step to finish, this is what's going to get me and it still wasn't 100% perfect, but he loved it. He was happy with it. So
you can get 85 to 90% out of a car. That last 10% could take you 100 hours.
Yep.
So most people are happy with clean and shiny.
Yeah.
40 to 50% correction totally blows people away.
Yeah.
So, for the guys that think they have to do 6 and 7 steps of correction to make a car look good, I can use a product and do it in 1 step, and they'll be more than happy and have a fair price instead of a super high price.
Right.
And most of them are just going to drive it home, park it, and go to the supermarket anyway with it. So.
Well, not everybody. I mean, with your car, with your TR6, with the Cobra, to most of the world, it's 100% perfect. But I still see the things I need to work on. I'll probably put another 200 hours into it over the winter. And normal people don't do that. I mean, and no one would ever pay me what it took. I have like 2,500 hours into that paint. No one would ever pay that. Not some idiot like me.
Detailers aren't normal people.
Yeah, for sure.
We're a breed of our own. But as far as any other questions, Curtis asked about mentors. Mike Phillips is a big mentor for me. I mean, I've known Mike quite a while now, and I learned the new techniques through Mike. Fortunately, Auto Geek is 10 minutes from my house. And I had to go to Tennessee to find out about Auto Geek.
Oh, no.
That's another story, but Mike has been a big influence in my detailing, as have many, many people. I look up to a lot of great detailers. I don't want to mention any names because the heads get really big, but the guys that are really, really good, they don't have egos. They're humble. They know they do high quality work, and they're more than willing to share their passion and their secrets with other people, and it means a lot to me to have those people that I can call friends.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of them through Detail Fest and Auto Geek, MTE, and I've made a lot of new friends in the detailing world, and I'm proud to call a lot of them my friend.
Yeah, you don't call me a friend, but that's all right. You still do my videos, so that's all right.
Right. Well, you've eaten my meatballs, so yeah, you're a friend.
That's right. That counts, right?
Curtis also asked about if I had, I guess if I had passed, I would want a quote to be remembered by. Um, and I thought about that a bit, and quotes are hard to come up with, but I'm a firm believer in finding something you like to do or love to do and do it. And detailing is a passion for me. Cars in general, I've loved cars since I'm a little kid. And I don't think I'll ever stop loving cars. I've owned lots and lots of cars, trucks, any number of vehicles, and um, I enjoy them all, whether they be stock, whether they be crap boxes or really nice cars. I've enjoyed every car I've ever owned. And
are you gonna have your son build you one of those monster things that he builds? Those things are nasty looking.
I built a monster Jeep a while back, and it's pretty much where my son learned or got his interest in it. And I gave him my Jeep. I had a Jeep Wrangler with a big block Chevy engine in it.
Nice.
And it's 40-inch tires. And I basically gave it to him and said, here, it's yours. Do what you wish with it. And he turned it into a race vehicle. And it's one of the vehicles that built his reputation.
That's cool.
He does have a great reputation, as do both of my kids. Nick, that's Robert. Nicholas is a detailer up in Jacksonville, and he's doing well. He's doing coatings. He's doing detailing. He's got a good following, and I'm proud of both of my kids. They're good kids.
That's awesome. Any other questions that we missed?
Curtis asked about my least favorite part of detailing. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of parts of cars. I hate to get underneath a car. I have a lift that's right underneath that Denali. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, you can see it.
It helps me get underneath the car. I don't do a lot of undercarriage detailing. A lot of wheels off, coatings and whatnot. But as far as my least favorite part of the car, I'm going to tell you, it's the back window on most cars. The inside of the back window.
They're just impossible, especially with the third taillight.
I have no problems with glass. I have a mixture I use, and a lot of guys know about it. I have no issues with streaks, but when I got to get into a contortionist position to get that back window, I'm not a happy camper. So, and I don't have air conditioning in my shop like some do.
I don't have AC in mine, but it's 70 degrees where I live most of the time, so I don't need it.
Yeah, you're lucky. So,
well, cool.
But yeah, I don't think there was much else as far as questions. There was Curtis had one about training. If I train somebody, what would I want them to get out of my course? The obvious thing would be the ability to detail, and every aspect of it, not just paint polishing. A lot of guys don't understand that there's more to detailing than paint polishing. It's great if you can polish paint, but again, most people want clean and shiny and a clean interior.
Yeah.
So interiors are a big part, and I think that's one of the main things I would want somebody to walk away with. But when it comes to being a businessman, I'm a firm believer in don't leave any money on the table. Everything is a la carte. It's charged by the job. A lot of times people come in and ask for a detail. You give them a $250 detail, and they'll call you up an hour later and say, oh, by the way, while you're in there, would you do this and this and this? Sure, I'll do that, but there's a price to pay.
Yeah, that's a $300 detail or $350.
Right, exactly. So I want people to understand that there is money to be made, depending on your attitude and ability to explain to a client or customer that you have to make money, and this is your livelihood. People think that we're just wealthy detailers, I guess. We can adjust our price down because they don't want to pay $300 for a detail.
Well, it's the value proposition, right?
Well, it is. And the other part of the training or that money on the table is tailor a detail. You don't want to lose a customer because they want to pay $100 and you want $200. Change the detail up a little bit. Charge them $100. Give them a wash and wax and just a vacuum. There's a lot of ways you can eliminate things from your detail to come up with a lower price. And I think once you have that customer locked in, they're going to be long-term customers. And why not just take that $100 every 2 months or 3 months? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, that's a good perspective.
We all need a slow day too sometimes. If I spend 4 days correcting a truck and coding it, which to some may seem like a lot of time, but it doesn't matter to me. I take my time. Um, I lost my train of thinking, but if I take 3 or 4 days, I want a couple of days to recuperate.
Right.
I'm finished with this Denali. I've got a Dodge Ram coming in Monday, big lifted, dually, diesel, twin turbo, monstrosity in black that I'm going to spend a week on. And I'm going to enjoy a couple of days of light work. I've got pads to clean. Oh, that was another question, Curtis. How do you handle the behind the scenes? Not to change the subject, but there are things that I need to do. Wash my towels, laundry, clean the shop, put my tools in order. I do service maintenance on my tools. They're my money makers. If my tools aren't working, I'm not making money. So behind the scenes is important. You need to make time to make sure your equipment's up. You make sure you have product on the shelf, to make sure that you have enough of everything you need to do the job.
Well, you're fortunate too that if you need anything, it's pretty quick to get something, right? So for me, it takes me 4 days, so I really better plan ahead,
Well, I've, even living close to Auto Geek, I bought product from them for years, and for me to run over here and pick something up has always been way easier than waiting 2 days for shipping. Their service is unbelievable, and it's really nice to be affiliated with a company and like Auto Geek and Autopia, and I get some perks out of the deal, repping for Blackfire and Autopia a little bit.
Yep.
I get some product testing, which means I get product. I got this yesterday, which has been a great little product. I hope that comes to market, but it's a finish polish that I finished that Denali with, and it came out amazing. And that's one of the things that if I wasn't here, I might not have that opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say they treat me extremely well here. Bob McKee, Megan, Jason, Nick, Mike Phillips. They're just unbelievable people, as are the entire staff here. They're just great. Everybody's.
Yeah, I love visiting. I had an opportunity to go yesterday, which was awesome, and just I was gushing on them on Facebook a little bit this morning. I just love them. They're just awesome. It's a great company.
They are, and they've been extremely, extremely nice to me. This beautiful shop he built for me is just amazing. I was the only one he asked to come in here. I was his first choice, and that meant a lot to me. I'm not perfect, and I kind of feel a little better knowing that somebody wanted me.
Yeah, for sure. That just validates it.
It validates it, and that's all we all want, is a pat on the back once in a while. We get a paycheck at the end of the week, or when a customer comes and picks up it, but you really want to be known for what you do, and not in a celebrity way, just to know that people appreciate what you do.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel real good.
For sure. Well, any other parting words of advice for young detailers? A lot of these guys that are getting in are pretty young. The guys that you see on Detailing for Dummies a lot, probably. And sort of one last piece of advice, anything for them?
Do it right. Learn the right procedure to do a job. It's so important. There's so many hacks out in this world in every aspect of business, not only auto detailing, but if you're going to learn to do the job, do it right.
Yeah.
And that's a big piece of important. It's important to do things the proper way. It'll be better for your reputation in the long run, and it'll be easier on you mentally and physically too as well.
Which includes licensing, insurance, all that stuff that so many of those guys that don't do them. So
that's a major importance. I mean, I've had Ferraris in my shop that were worth $8 million, $7 million, and that's another issue there with insurance. You got to know that your insurance is going to cover you.
Right.
If something happened to a car of that value, and you really have to be smarter than the guy telling you, your insurance is good. You have to investigate it, and whether it be your business licenses and upkeep on those, or insurance or anything else. You know, it's not always the way Joe Blow says it is.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So check the
Homework.
writer.
Right.
Yeah, do the homework for sure. Well, how do we get in touch with you? Give your plugs for your.
Impressions Fine Automotive Detailing on Facebook. Robert DiTerlizzi on Facebook. My cell number is 772-260-6636. It's on all the time. I don't usually answer when I'm home unless it's somebody I know, but leave a message. I will return my calls. I always do. And I'm located at Auto Geek headquarters, Autopia Car Care Products headquarters at 7782 Southwest Jack James Drive in sunny Stuart, Florida.
Cool. And you said Detailing for Dummies already? Did you say?
Detailing for Dummies is my main Facebook group. It's basically purely educational site. No spamming, no 50-50 shots, no bragging, no.
Yeah.
Basically, you want to learn, come on there. We've got almost 6,000 members now in a short period of time. And there's a lot of professional detailers on it that are more than willing to give a hand when a hand is needed.
And that's where we try to do on the one-on-one group, it's all business, right? And so I send a lot of people over there to say, hey, this is more of a question for that group. You'll get a lot better response and all that. So it's a great group and has a lot of information.
And I appreciate that, and I appreciate the help that the pro detailers give me. You know, I only have 2 moderators, and they do an excellent job. Ivan LaCroix and Ron Oyette, and they do an excellent job for me. And the guys that really, really do most of it are the guys that answer the questions.
Yeah.
And that take the time. You know, as in any Facebook group, drama starts, and we try to nip drama in the bud. We delete a lot of comments. We delete a lot of
delete and ban.
You know, delete and ban. You know, but the fact is that there's a lot of guys that have stuck it out, and pros that have stuck it out, and are more than willing to help, from simple headlight restorations to full-blown detailing questions. It's pretty much anything goes. So
nice.
Thank you to all, and thank you to you for this interview.
Hey, well, thanks for doing it. This is the first one that I've done. I thought it'd be fun. I wish we would have done it in person yesterday, but hey, that's what technology's for, right? And what's funny is I'm 150 miles north of you right now instead of normally I'm 2,700 miles, but same deal, right?
The amazing power of the internet. You're right in front of me now.
That's right. That's for sure. My head's this big. My hair's even bigger. So yeah, well, thanks so much, Robert. I'll get this stuff up pretty soon and we'll talk to you later.
Awesome, Kevin. Thank you. And guys, thank you for the questions.
See ya.
All right. Bye-bye.